Hey there, so I'm going to show you how we prep chestnuts for their cold stratification over the winter. I have a couple bags of, these are from Colossal, and then got a box here, chestnuts. These are just general hybrid Chinese. So we're going to prep all these, get them ready for cold stratification. So in early October, we went and picked all these, and they've just been storing in my fridge since then. You can see some of them are kind of getting a little bit of mold on them, so we're going to take care of that, and we're going to test them all for their viability and start getting ready to get them put to sleep for the winter. So the first thing we're going to do is a float test. So in this float test, we're checking for floaters are not likely to be viable. Sinkers should be good to go. I got a bucket with a bunch of water in here. I'm going to just add a bit of bleach. Doesn't need to be a whole ton. People often say you're shooting for 10%, but I don't usually do quite 10%. Bleach is kind of nasty to work with, and I'd rather not get it all over me. But we got enough bleach in there that it'll still help sanitize the seeds so they don't rot over the winter. So I'm just trying to open this bag here. Got it open. It's just as simple as send them in. Give them a minute. You can decide if they're going to sink or float here. I do kind of expect a lot of floaters, mostly only because they've been in my fridge so long. So ideally, doing this immediately after you pick them. But I didn't do that, so I probably won't have as many good ones. But you can see I do have a lot of floaters, and that's fine. Well, actually, these will just go back to the fridge, and we'll eat these. We'll get them roasted, and then we'll probably get them in the freezer. All right. Now all I need to do on this is I'm just gonna scoop out the floaters in one spot. There's enough bleach in here. I can definitely smell it. No doubt about that. Well, obviously it's probably not 10% bleach, but this one's kind of floating in the middle, so I'll put it in another bucket. These are going to be our keepers, which again isn't a whole lot. But when you take care of things right away. Bag untied. Use a minute. One of the things you want to do is just make sure that there's not air bubbles stuck to them, which is why it's good to kind of bump them around a little bit. Some of them you can kind of tell. What I've noticed is if you can pick it up, I mean, you're not going to be able to see in the video, but I can squeeze it. There's a bit of softness to this one. It's probably not any good. The ones that don't, the ones that sink are usually rock solid, like rock solid. So yeah, these have been in the fridge What I might try with these floaters is actually soak them for a couple of days. More of them. Floaters. Some sinkers in here still. Okay. And that is it. That, so let me show you what we got. So here, again, these are my floaters. There's a whole lot of them. I'll put some water in there and see. And these are my sinkers. These are the ones that I'm going to get ready for the winter. And these feel much harder. There's maybe a smidge of softness, but not like those ones that were sinking. So these are the ones that sink. And we'll get those ones ready for the winter. Okay. Now, we'll do the box of the various hybrid Chinese ones here. Let's see how this goes. These ones are going to do way better on the number of sinkers and floaters. I think it's because it's in the box. The box has been in the fridge, just the same as those bags have been. But I'm pretty sure the box has helped hold in some of the moisture. The hardly the box has felt slightly damp at times, which is probably not ideal. There's mold, but a lot more sinkers over here, so that's good. Plenty of plant, but keep stirring these up. This one. You can see how that one's soft. This one's obviously a floater. How much air has got to be inside the shell there. But now let's separate floaters. Here's another one. See how this one actually almost feels like there's two kernels in this one, but I wouldn't think there is. Floaters. Rest. My sinkers. There's a lot more. So let me just say that the bleach isn't necessary just for flow testing. Okay. So the bleach isn't not needed whatsoever for flow testing, but the bleach is in there just to sanitize the nuts, partially because they've been slightly aged. We picked them a little while ago, and we'll just sanitize them and ensure that they will last. These are all my floaters. A lot of them. So yeah, this is very hard. So again, the bleach is just there to help sanitize them. hopefully to kill any mold that has started to grow. This, yeah, that one's just rotten, no good anyways. I'm gonna just pull that out altogether. But hopefully kill some of the mold that's starting to grow, prevent them, the good ones, from rotting over the winter. The next thing we got to prep for is getting our cold stratification bucket ready. I'm gonna go ahead and separate. These are my filters over here. Got floaters over here. Water. That bucket of Chinese. I already added water to this bucket of colossals. We'll give those a little bit of time to see if they rehydrate a little bit. And as an experiment, if they hydrate and start to sink, I might take any sinkers out of there and go ahead and stratify them as well. But we'll give them, I don't know, a day or two, and we'll day or two in the water, but changing the water every day, because if we don't change that water, that's also going to encourage mold growth. So from here, let's get set for stratifying the chestnut. Okay, so we have what we need here for stratifying the seeds over winter. In order to do so, you're going to need yourself a bucket. Any bucket with a lid. You can use all kinds of other things too if you want. But what's important here is you got to have holes for drainage in the lid and the bucket itself. Okay, so again, you can use any other container, but you want to make sure water can get in and water can get out. What else is important is that little critters cannot get in. They're going to be outside all winter long where food is scarce. The chipmunks and squirrels and whatever else is out there, and they would love nothing more to find a whole bucket full of chestnuts stored away for them. So we want to keep them out. We're going to do that. This lid should be enough. Some people will add like a metal mesh underneath their bucket and even on the top to help keep them out, because a little rodent could nibble at the hole and make it bigger and bigger until they could get in. But we will also be checking on these throughout the winter once in a while. So if something like that starts to happen, hopefully we'll catch it in time. So the other thing, we got our bucket with a lid, holes for drainage in and out. You got sand. You don't have to use sand. You can use a variety of different things. Again, what's important here, what you're looking for is something that drains well. Sand will drain very well. It's not going to hold a lot of water. And something that's inert. But by inert, what we really mean is that there's not a lot of fertility in it. You don't want something that's going to be encouraging microbial growth or life that has organic matter in it, because that again can encourage the bacterias, mold, whatever that'll rot your chestnuts over the winter. So the best bet is just buy some sand. So all we need to do, down a little bit. Okay, a little better. So all we got to do is a little we got a layer of sand in here. Not very thick at all. That's just fine. And then a layer of chestnuts. A layer that's like a single layer. You don't want to pile them up. Tip it without it falling. Maybe you can see them. Just a single layer. Ideally, they're not touching each other, because if one starts to mold, it can infect the others. But if there's a little bit of space between them, then it should be fine. More. another couple of inches. And then more chestnuts. Remember, these are all of our sinkers. These ones should be viable. And you just have them sitting in there. Okay? I'm feeling a little bit reckless. So those are my sinkers, okay? On the bottom. What I'm going to try to do is I got another layer here. I'm going to go ahead and add some of these floaters on top just because they're separated by that sand, so if they start to mold, it should be all right. We'll give those a try. Keep them up. Keep them a little bit. I still got a whole lot of these floaters over here that we'll hold on to it. And so for a couple of days because I'm curious how it goes. I'll experiment with that. So that's it. This is only half full. Again, I didn't have too many sinkers to go in this bucket. And this is going to stay just like this. It's inside, but I'm going to get a label that I'm going to put in the bucket. Now this bucket is going to go, we got a couple of mulch piles. I'm literally going to dig a hole in the mulch pile, put that in there, and bury it. Straight up bury it. I'll bury it so that the top of the mulch is about here, but then I'll pile a little bit over top. Again, so when it rains, rain can get in, water can get in, it can wash through, everything will stay nice and moist. Inside the mulch pile, it shouldn't get too cold. I am in Michigan, so our zone, it's kind of a borderline, somewhere between 5 and 6. 0 is not uncommon, 0 degrees Fahrenheit is not uncommon here. -10, not too common, and I've only ever seen -20 here one winter. So anyways, in the ground, buried in the ground, these do just fine. So I don't have much more sand in this bag, but we'll do what we can. That's what I got in front of me at the moment. Doing the other bucket. And make sure you label it. Like I said, I'm going to add a label to that other bucket there. If you don't label it, you'll forget. If you won't, you will. Label it. These ones I'm going to put in here. A little more things. I'm going to do that here. All right, well, I don't actually have another bag of sand on hand, but it's okay. We got a sand box. So I went and stole this from the sandbox, and that's perfectly fine for this purpose. There might be some leaves mixed in, which again, not ideal, but also not a big deal. So not gonna worry about it too much. But all right, let's carry on. So get this layer covered. So this clay sand is not as ideal. It's like that's mason sand, which is more coarse. This is clay sand, which is more fine, more like flour that you cook with. And the only reason why that's not ideal is because that's just going to hold a bit more water in it. As you can see, we go along here. Just have some nuts, some sand. These Chinese ones. Okay. Pop them off. That, my friends, is ready to go. So Where are we at? There we go. And it just looks like a bucket full of sand, but it's a bucket full of sand with chestnuts in it. And again, the lid, drainage holes, the bucket has drain holes on the bottom. This guy, you're mostly going out and get buried in the mulch pile. I'm not going to be able to show that to you right now because it's dark outside after bedtime for the kids. But maybe in one of the future videos, I'll try to remember to show you these buckets buried in the mulch piles and over this winter. So if you found this helpful, interesting, entertaining, please give it a like, thumbs up, and if you want to see more about these chestnuts, how they germinate in the spring, and for follow-up, please hit subscribe, and I'll also show you them buried in the mulch soon. All right, take care.